Welcome to the George FTTV YouTube channel. Today we have my final team. Some few late changes with team sheets dropping, and we'll go through round one teams, which I usually go through on Thursday, but I should have got it out Thursday just to help some people out or get a second opinion. But it's just too hectic with like Carroll, and then I dropped Gibcus, which was really dumb luck. Obviously, first and foremost, we hope Gibby makes a good recovery, but from a SuperCoach perspective, like it's just I'm basically a trade ahead of most of the comp for a dumb reason, so it's not really fair. And then Marty Hoare came in. We'll get to him soon. In the midfield, I've dropped Butters for Green, or dropped Dawson on Butters. It was Dawson, Butters, or Green. I figured Green has a buy, so between Dawson and Butters, and I only had money for Butters. Slightly concerned about the ankle with Butters, so just go Tom Green, who I think is a little bit safer based on that, but has two buys while Butters has none, which is a little bit bad because we're going to lose points, but we'll have decent rookie coverage, certainly for round 3 anyway. Still got Bont. I can't remember if I had Steele in the team review. He's kind of been in and out, and given the price, and like you look at these players, like Bont should lead CBAs for them, Green should lead CBAs, Steele should lead their CBAs. I think Crouch will be top 3, if not top 2, if this led forward stints is true. And Ollie Wines, I wouldn't be surprised if he's number 1, because the other guys can play, as in number 1 for CBAs, the other guys can play forward a bit. So high CBA mids who have had a really, really good preseason in my team. And Nick Martin's got this Dacos role apparently, so hopefully DPP. Still got Berry. A lot of people asking me about Sam Berry. I like Berry as a player. I think he's cheap enough to, like, it's not a big deal if this flops. It's 220k. It'll be bad, but it won't be a disaster for price. It's priced at what, in the 30s or something. So I believe in him as a player. I think he was good in year 2. I don't know what happened in year 3. Still no explanation, but his body shape's changed a bit, and he looked really good in the preseason. And he's forced his way into the team when it almost looked like no chance he would play. So he's basically forced his way in with the way he's had his preseason. So he's in. Went Carroll on the bench. We'll see if Walsh is back or not. The injury sounds pretty bad for Walsh, but he said he might be back in a couple of weeks, which would be bad for Carroll. I think at worst, Carroll will be sub though, so we'll get a price rise out of that. Obviously, big omission here is McKercher. Just because I'm fading McKercher doesn't mean you should. I think it's playing with fire, fading McKercher. But it is, like, we're going to get, if McKercher makes 200k, I think there's a fair few base rookies that will get a similar amount out of. Maybe McKercher's more fieldable than them, and if Fisher goes down or they put Sheasel more midfield or something, I think it'll be a really hard non-own with McKercher. But yeah, I've gone Berry over McKercher. 4th year in the system versus 1st year. McKercher's role is probably better, but that's what we've done. So yeah, it is what it is. Decided on Berry. Like, I put high priority on Berry, but it doesn't mean you should. So don't force Berry in like to your team like me, but it's up to you. Gawn and Grundy, I think there's an article with Max Gawn saying, oh, he's ready to bounce back. So I just like, okay, he's going to bounce back. I'm just going to put him in and shut up. Flanders, Heaney. I like that their value forwards, that they just help the structure. Like, I see them as keepers. We'll see what happens, but I see them both as keepers. Even Heaney, I do. Having 480k, 490k keepers in the forward line is just unbelievable for structure. So even with the buys, whatever, like, there's not really alternatives unless you like Jackson. For me, if they're saying that Darcy could be back within a month, like, no, I'm not interested in Jackson. Like, if you pick him, great, you get some nice points early, but I'm not. It's a 3-4 week rental in my eyes if it plays out as the club says it is, but whatever, is what it is. Yeah, and then Jordan's like high owned, and Reed's 80% owned, and I think most people fielding Sexton. So I'm quite comfortable with this. I think the team's okay. It's not like Flanders and Green together on the buy is pretty bad, but I think they're underpriced, and yeah, the way things have worked out, we've got both. If it wasn't for Green, I'd like Dawson or Tom Stewart or Butters, one of those, but that's what we're going with. Anyway, we'll go through the team. So Carlton and Richmond, I mean, really, Like, I wanted Richmond to win, to be honest, and they should have beaten. This is like Carlton's run of wins have been good, but I mean they've been pretty fortunate. I think everyone can see that with the opponents. I guess they had Wiedering and Walsh out, so whatever. We'll move past that, but not much to say. Like Zach Williams, no tank at all. Now, it's one thing to say he'll be better for the run. It's another to say, well, how long? Because we don't need him for over 6-7 weeks, for however long. He looks all right. He has no tank. I saw in the third quarter he was on his haunches towards the end of the quarter. He had nothing in the tank. They might as well sub him like next week if he does this again, or the week after because he has the bye. So, yeah, 50's not a great score. I think he can still. I think he can do 70 plus if he, given it's close games and he doesn't score in the last quarter. Scaling's killing him at the moment. I think he'll be fine. Like, it's just annoying that like there's paying 200Ks is just a massive deal in this season because there's so many good ones, and I guess we'll see how Williams goes, but I would expect 75 from him, which is okay. So for his price, he's just too cheap anyway. Hewitt was disappointing if you went him. I think this. I'm not sure how stable the CBAs are with Hewitt, especially if Walsh is back, and the alternatives that we have. Fantasia didn't do much, I don't think. And then Jack Carroll here, I'll start highlighting. He looked okay. A lot of good moments. I wouldn't trade into him on the buy. I think he'll make good money provided he's not sub. But you know, if Walsh comes in and Elijah Hollands comes in, who goes out? Do they get rid of Fantasia? Do they get rid of Cunningham? Do they get rid of Always? Like Jesse Motlop probably comes in for somebody. Do they get? I think Carroll should be ahead of Fogarty, although Fogarty was getting CBAs, but not as much as Carroll. I'm not sure how that will play out, to be honest. Richmond, I guess, unfortunate. Gibcus is a forced trade. And Campbell, I think you just hold for another week, and then if there's a rookie too good to, if there's a rookie that's too good to pass up, you just flick Campbell early. Otherwise, you can probably keep holding. I thought he wasn't terrible, but like not going to get massive scoring out of him. But at least he's got that 70 in his price cycle. Collingwood versus Sydney. Sounds like Finn McRae's sub, although it hasn't been announced yet, but I think that's what people are thinking. Tom Mitchell managed, so it makes me... He's an emergency, though. Surely McRae's not ahead of Tom Mitchell, but we'll see. It says managed here. This is why I've got, like back here, I've got Cadman. This gets me a look at Dempsey, who I like. I'll probably start straight over Cadman, to be honest. This gives us a look at Sean Manor and Finn McRae. So, yes, it'll be wasting a trade, but we get a look at all three. And yeah, if I had to pick one right now, I would be Dempsey. I feel quite comfortable picking him. I've got him in the other formats, but he's a bit more expensive. And yeah, Cadman will give us a look at the other players while he has West Coast and North. So I won't start Finn McRae, but we'll keep an eye on him. Roberts on the wing. I don't think that's real. This is fake. Lloyd is wingman. Roberts is defender now. Seems Grundy, I think we're all going to pick. And Jordan named on the ball. I guess like you can't take much out of it. If you want to fade Jordan, I wouldn't, because I watched tape on this game and he played all half forward, mid, no wing. I thought he was going to play wing. I didn't see any wing, and I don't see any wing time right now, especially with they've got McInerney, they've got Campbell, they've got wingmen everywhere. Lloyd, Gordon, so they need him inside, I think. So I think half forward and a little bit of CBAs is the role for him, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a spike in CBAs. McInerney played well, but I'm not sure he's the answer for CBAs at the moment. So I would not. I think it would be a hard watch not owning Jordan, in my opinion. So I think he's a good pick, especially like VFL numbers are crazy. So ceiling's there. Get through this bit quicker. But Essendon versus Hawthorn. Finn McGuinness named. Now, I don't know if that's sub or not. If he's sub, I might pick Zach Merritt in sports deck. I can't really fit him in. There's no Parish early, and then he's got that early nice run. Still overpriced Zach Merritt, but so safe, so durable. I think he'll be top 8 again for sure. So I do like him. But yeah, priority upgrade target for me. Zach Reed, I think you lock him in on your bench. Great job security. Can actually take intercepts. So lock him in. That's about it. Sardis on the wing. Like, I don't like this on the wing. So Nick Martin on the wing. Like, I think it's just the same role as a practice game, so I wouldn't worry about that. The one he's trained in all preseason. So looking at this, key defenders are Frost, Scrimshaw, Sicily. So I think they will try Scrimshaw as key position because he's trained that in the preseason. So I think with Sicily, I would be shocked if he's not top 6. I know people are off him at the moment because of Weddle and Amon back there and Blank going down and stuff like that. Let it play out. I think he's very expensive and just let it play out. I think he'll play third because they've made a conscious effort to free him up as the third all preseason in like match sim and stuff. So we'll see how that goes. That's pretty much it. Amon on the bench. Wouldn't worry about that. So I think he'll be not a bad pod. And then no Huss weight. VFL numbers weren't convincing, so I did drop him, but looks a really good player. Look, good prospect for them. Think he'll be a downgrade for us at some point. Giants versus North. Mick Mullins out. Cadman on the bench. I don't know who's sub. I think they've used Nick Haynes as sub, or they could use Ware as sub or something. Perryman's and Callahan's in, so I don't know what that means for Ware, if he's sub or not. I'll probably skip Ware. The only reason why I pick Ware is if you want to get rid of him early, so you want to look at other rookies, but then you're booking in a trade, and I'm already doing that with Cadman, so I'm thinking if I do that with 2 players, like other stuff's going to happen, and I'll be stuck and miss rookies. So I think just pick the rookies you want, and yeah, I think there's too many good mid rooks to go for Ware probably. There's not much else here. Some people like Whitfield. I think that's fine. I probably won't with the buy. North Melbourne. So Toby Pink and Core are named together, and Dawson. I think Pink was much better than Dawson. Who's the other one? Is Biggie playing? Oh no. I guess Biggie could threaten spot. I think Pink will be fine. I think he's a fine pick, and I'm almost tempted to pick him over Caulfield because if I had to guess on job security, I think Pink's would be slightly. That's my read. It might not be yours. So, yeah, you can make up your own mind there, but I'm not too sure. Coach are named Harford. It's interesting because they've got Goda, Fisher, Sheasel. And then they've already said Scott can play down back in preseason, so I don't know if that actually happens because I think they can just play him wing. So I do wonder if they move Colby or Sheasel up the ground. If they do move someone, I'm guessing it's Sheasel because they probably want to settle Colby down back where he's played. But I think he's probably better off forward of the ball. But if they want to ease him half back, could be wrong there. So I think fading Colby is a bad idea, and I'm doing it just because he's like. You can't have them all. It's too hard. So that's that. Some people going Cherry. I think it's okay. I think you'll probably have to watch with your eyes closed when Gawn plays, but yeah. No Will Phillips. So Lazaro, I think could be sub. I don't know. I don't know what Lazaro is. Like, does he have to play inside mid? But I don't think he has the skills to play inside mid in terms of kicking and handballing, so that's a bit of a hard one. I don't have Lazaro. I think I would lock him for sure if he was base price, but one of those ones where he's 180k, maybe sub risk. I think he's an okay pick. So if you can fit him in, I probably would. So I think that's okay. Geelong versus St Kilda. Where's Holmes? So Holmes is interesting. I don't know where he plays, but are they giving him this like dream Dacos role? I don't know. I don't have a good read on Holmes, so I probably shouldn't speak on it. Stewart, I like. He's probably the only defender that I don't have that I would have liked. I think age plays a factor in me not picking him, but I think it'll be fine. Less miles in the legs. Jai Clark on ball. It's interesting that, like, look at this bench. Sanders and Clark. Some people even have Roberts here as well, or McKercher. Mid-bench is very good, so it does help with the picking Tom Green or Tuke Miller, or anyone else with that buy. Can't remember who. So both, I think Tuke's a good pick. But yeah, Jai Clark. I don't know what the TOG is, and I don't know what the CBAs are too. So I do worry. We saw what happened to Tanner Bruin's CBAs. Time on ground last year. So I don't know what Clark's will be. So I'm probably first up. I'll bench him. If he fires, we can look at fielding him, but it's pretty stacked forward rookies, I think. Dempsey named forward, 88 average in the VFL, I think. I mean, that's pretty good for young guys, probably looking to get even better. So I do like him. I would like him. I dare say Cadman will go to there's Burgess, Dempsey, Manor, Finn McRae. If I had to pick someone right now, it would be Dempsey. So we'll see how that goes. But I do feel he's got this buffer where if someone comes in, Manor probably goes out before Dempsey. So yeah. Looking at the Saints, yeah, Steele on ball, of course. So I've got Steele. I'm not super confident in him, but I guess the upside is he's moving much better than last preseason, and yeah, just everything that could have gone wrong went wrong, like over and over again last year for him. Bonner, people are looking at. Because Sinclair's back, I'm going to sit out on Bonner, and he's just a really horrible price where you can probably split him into 3 really, really good, paid up for rooks. So I'd probably rather that, but he should outscore like a Berry if you're going that. So I'm sitting out on Bonner. I'm just not fully confident in him, and I think in a 3-man defense, he's gone 82 at Port, and I would guess it's similar number to that here. I'm not sure exactly when Sinclair comes back. So with Darcy Wilson, I'm thinking about fielding him over Harley Reid just because this is a very bad matchup, Adelaide Oval against Port. Harley Reid held his own in the midfield though, and he should have a better role, mostly mid, you would think. With Gimby back, maybe like splits with him half back and mid. I don't know. So I like Wilson. Looks good. That's pretty much it, I think. Nass is kind of cool. With Bonner there, I don't know how that affects him, so I'll sit out on Nass. Gold Coast versus Adelaide, Chris Burgess revenge game. Defense, yeah, I think Butterick's... I wouldn't pick Butterick actually because it's 300k and his ceiling is capped with Sexton and Powell back there. If Powell went down, I reckon Butterick would be pushing on the door of like 95 plus. So I don't think I have him in fantasy anymore, but I've got him in sports deck because he's a bit cheaper in there. So I like Butterick. He looks pretty good. So he's in. No, he's not. He's not in. He's in my sports deck, but I think you could do a lot worse than Butterick. He looks good to the eye. Tuke Miller, I don't mind at that price. Looks back to. He's been butchering it a bit, but looks good though. Looks fine. Rao and Anderson, interesting. I don't know how good Rao's outside game is and how if it'll hold up or not after last week. So I'll probably sit out. I'll sit out on Rao. Flanders on the bench. The CBA bump should help him a little bit, but it seems to score more. Like he was scoring with no CBAs last year. Scores like throughout the ground. So there's dogs barking from next door. I don't know if you can hear that. But yeah, Flanders I'm picking. Not super confident in him in this with this early run. Adelaide, high contested team. Laird and Crouch and Berry and Dawson, or probably too early to throw in Berry into that bracket. But I guess at home I think there's harder matchups than the Crows anyway. But on the Crows side of things, so as a Crow supporter note, Butts and Borlase a bit worried about what Luco and King do to them, but especially after limited preseason. Isaac Rankin is playing. So it's interesting with Rankin's CBAs. I know they played him 50% CBAs in the practice game. I think that was just to give him midfield exposure. I remember Laird clearly said on SEN probably 3 weeks ago that Rankin will be mostly half forward and roll through a few CBAs. So I don't think that's 50%. I don't think that's real for Rankin. He might start in there. I don't know, but yeah, judging what Laird said, it'll be the main three in Crouch, Laird, and Dawson, and then Berry might get 30-40. I'm hoping, like what Schoenberg and Sloan were getting last year, who are both out the team. Wouldn't worry about Crouch on the bench. He might start on the bench, but it's whatever. And yeah, I have Berry, so that's pretty much it. Sunday, how many got? We got 3 more. Melbourne versus Bulldogs. I've gone Marty Hall. I think you got Tom McDonald, who should be playing back. They got Van Rooyen. Oh, hang on, who's forward? Brown, Van Rooyen. Just too tall, surely. Billings can go half forward. Woden forward, I think. Yeah, they got plenty forwards. I think Tom McDonald's back. That would mean May, Lever, and McDonald, and maybe Hoare can play on like the 3rd or 4th tall. How's halfback, McVee lockdown, Rivers halfback or something? I don't know. So I was a bit worried that Hoare might play on lob, but with Tom McDonald in the team, who I expect to play defence, I think he won't be needed to play on lob. Might be on a other small. So I'm going to pick Hoare and field him, and hope for the best because he has the best VFL numbers. So he's in, and he's done it at the level before he did his 2 ACLs. Wouldn't touch Oliver. I wouldn't touch Petrarch with the bye. And, yeah, Salem and Sparrow more mid-time. I don't know what Petrarch's CBAs will be exactly, but still an upgrade target for me after his bye. And looks maybe Billings gets a full game. I think that would be wise, and Larry's out the team. Looking at the Dogs, I think Bailey Dale's named. O'Donnell's out the team too. Buku's playing. This is so confusing. I was thinking that Bramble... So Bramble's in for Duray, I think. I would thought Bramble was only in for Dale, but they're playing Bramble. I know Hawthorn supporters seem to be pretty negative on him. Buku's playing key position defence, right? And then Caulfield the 3rd tall. This is very confusing backline. I'm picking Caulfield. To be honest, I'm not super confident in him. I do think they could play maybe O'Donnell ahead of him. If things go wrong, we can go Toby Pink. And do I have Pink now or Caulfield? Oh, Caulfield. I'm half tempted to switch to Pink. I don't know though. I'll keep Caulfield, go with the masses though. I don't know, just more of a gut feel. Bontlibber, whatever. English is there, not much else to tell. Port versus West Coast. There's nothing on Port side. Obviously Butters announced playing. I don't know how fully fit he is. It might be nothing and then he'll go nuts on West Coast, but we'll see. Vaughan Francis named half forward. I think there'll just be a tight 4-man mid rotation. Maybe Mead and Drew get some CBAs. Nothing really here. Sweet emergency. Williams out of the team. I guess, yeah. This is kind of Zerk Thatcher, Aaliyah, Radicalia. Hopefully that helps them structurally. Looking at the Eagles side of things. Reed named on ball. Sounds like they want him more midfield, which is good. Might need a rest at halfback for a bit. I've got to be mindful that had a few niggles over the preseason, I think. So, and still pretty young. Oh, I've thought about fading Reed, but this 80% owned, and he looked quite good in the midfield against the Crows. So I think I will not fade Reed and fade McCutcheon instead, which could be a massive stuff up. But whatever. Yo in the middle, it looks like he's full-time mid, Kelly full-time mid, then it'll be Reed and Ginby, you'd think. Maybe Brockman they can roll through there or something, I don't know. I think they can play Petrocelli through there. West Coast is whatever. Not really relevant this year apart from Reed and you like Yo. And Freo versus the Brisbane Lions. Jeremy Sharp's playing. Honestly, I watched his game, wasn't impressed at all. But you can't really judge a player off one game, but it's kind of all we got. So was sick for the other game. I mean, who knows? He could be one we correct too, but I doubt it. I think he was 90 odd average in the VFL, but probably pure wing role. Where's O'Driscoll? Not playing. I think he might be injured. So if O'Driscoll could be back, maybe he could take his spot, but I don't know. I don't think Free supporters rate O'Driscoll either, so I'm not at all. So not too sure. I'll probably just sit out on Sharp. Emmett's expensive rookie. I'll probably sit out that. Role's not great, but looks pretty good. Hayden Young on the bench, not really worried about that. No Liam Reedy for Jackson. Last year was when Darcy went down, they said they could play Reedy. They didn't. This year, the same thing happened. I'm not picking Jackson. If Darcy's out, if they say he's out for 3 to 4, I'm just going to take that at face value, and it might not be true, but I mean, if he's back to playing forward in 4 weeks, like, is this really worth it? Not for me, especially if it's like 5 weeks or 6 weeks. That's when you need to start doing upgrades, not sidewaysing stuff, unless you want to keep him with Darcy in the team, which at the end of the day, no one really wants him right now with Darcy in the team. We'll see the strength of the forwards, but he would be in 0 competitive teams if Darcy was playing round 1. So I don't know if that's something, if you plan to trade him or whatever you want to do. I don't know. Not for me though, given Darcy's timeline. Lohman's playing. Lyons is playing. Yeah, Lyons, we know what he can score. We know he's going to get good CBAs with Lockie Neal out. You could, but I think I'd rather wait. And they've got Dev in, so I think you look at the squad. I don't know if Lohman would go out for Neil. I'm not sure. They're playing Rayner in there. Honestly, I don't know. I just think if Neil comes back in, it could be Lions. It might not be, but I don't think it would be. I don't think it would surprise anyone. So yeah, it's a tough one. I'm gonna sit out, and or assess it in round 4. I don't think I even have a path to him unless I want to get rid of Berry, which I don't. So yeah, that's all from me. Thank you for watching. Oh yeah, they got McKenna back in for Coleman, so fortunate injury, but that's it from me. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.